I have for you good news and bad news. Seems a little bit like life, doesn't it? The bad news is that unless you write a memoir or you live in a culture where oral histories that go back for generations are important, your life will pretty much be forgotten within about 75 years. Now, that's a very sobering thought, isn't it? The good news is that you can do something about it. You can write a memoir, and you might think to yourself, oh my goodness, I can't do that. Let's talk some more about that because you matter. Your story matters, and the world needs to hear it. So today I'm going to talk about why memoirs are important, what it did for my family, for example. I'm going to tell you how to go about doing it, and I'll tell you a little bit about how I did mine. I've also written an 85-page guide called Memoirs Matter, Learn How to Write Yours, which will be of tremendous help for you. So let's bring this idea of being forgotten a little bit closer to you. I want you to think about your great-grandparents. Yes, that's what I said, great-grandparents. Now, you probably know quite a bit about your parents. You might know a fair amount about your grandparents. But what about your great-grandparents? Are they more than just a leaf on the family tree? You might know their birth date, their death date, their names, and so forth, but what do you really know about them? Do you know the era in which they lived? Do you know the history? What was going on in the world at the time? Do you know what their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations, their fears, their disappointment, what any of these things were? Do you have any idea why they lived where they lived? Do you have any idea why they picked the occupation that they picked? Do you have any idea of, what sorts of things did they have to overcome? The bottom line is, some people have bits and pieces of that kind of history, like maybe your relative wrote a journal, maybe they saved some newspapers, some scrapbooks, maybe there's some entries in a Bible and so forth, but the bottom line is, what do you really know about them? So I want you to, I know when I first thought about writing a memoir, I thought, well, that's for people that are rich and famous or they're celebrities, right? And maybe that's a little bit indicative of our society. People act like if you're not rich or famous or a celebrity or some superstar that you don't matter. I beg to differ. We're kind of envious of people like Oprah who can, write a memoir, and next thing you know, she sold 1 million copies within, a day or a week or a month or whatever. But the bottom line is, you do not need to be rich or famous to write your memoir.